Then you do
Genius. In the last part, we took a deep dive on AGTube, the side of YouTube where American Girl dolls are the stars. I zoomed in on 3 creators and their shows Cabin 4, The Palace Wall, Music and Me, Search and Destroy, The Realm of Aragara, and Aspen Heights. Who are the characters in their story? How do their relationships form? And what does it mean to be a girl, a boy, a mother, a bully, and a friend in these shows? While you don't need to watch that video to watch this one, it'll certainly help you understand a lot of the context that I build on here. This time, I want to look at all the other elements that make up a story. The technical elements, the relation to other media, and whether or not these elements come together to make the most successful version of a story it can be within its limitations. We're also going to look at broader elements of AGTube, the other forms videos could take and how they changed over time. I got so many great responses to the first video, from sharing your experiences creating on AGTube to your favorite shows and videos. I'm so glad it reached the right people, and I encourage you to continue sharing AGTube memories in the comments. But with all that said, let's get into the video. Dolls are ways to act out experiences and fantasies through creative exploration, whether it's to act out media they like, or work through real-life issues with friends. In some AG shows, mistakes are okay. These videos are here to have fun, make, grow, learn, understand. It's basically recorded play. Whereas in the world of AGSmiless or Basilmentos stories, dolls are fundamentally actors, vessels, models. They are medium in form. They're a means to an end. So what is a story? A TV show, or a movie? How do these works understand the mediums they're a part of? For AGSmiless, a story is something that truly develops over time. A broad spanning narrative of many genres, big worlds and ideas mixed in with little conversations and moments. It can change tone, but it doesn't feel choppy. The characters and narrative change, but it sticks to the same themes. Her shows are both consistently narratively good from the start, and Aspen Heights starts getting really tonally good around season 2. There's an obvious jump in production value as well as length that stays consistent in all of her work after that. But Aspen Heights has incredible lore that builds from season to season in meaningful ways, like how we learn in season 3 all the Aspen's power is in Alita. It's genius and recontextualizes things from the past like a good twist should. There's dramatic irony. There are disagreements where 2 characters have completely different points of view, but both parties have weight and something to say. It sets up new mysteries while solving others. This constant stream, until at least Realm of Aragara's finale perfectly falls together like the pieces of a puzzle. Aspen Heights, like a real TV show, is a collection of related tropes, lore, character, comedy, mystery, all added and subverted into a truly cohesive narrative. I think Music and Me is a really genius premise that's all set up in one episode. Kaylin loves a pop star, she's playing a show in her town, friend in bully trouble surrounding tickets, boom, your British pen pal is secretly said pop star. And we know that Hannah Montana twist from the intro, not the show itself, which kinda goes hard. But I find I rarely think of Basilmentos when it comes to her shows. And maybe here's why. It doesn't build or change enough to warrant the medium of a show. Short films are her real forte, and it would have made more sense to keep these episodes in a slightly more succinct, contained form. So let's look at the larger scope of Basilmentos and Girl of the Year Studios channels because they made so much more outside of these shows. At the time of writing, Girl of the Year Studios sits at 54,000 subs with 439 videos, and Basilmentos sits at 205,000 subs with 338 videos. Tori and Anna respectively have shared their names and faces, and while it seems like Girl of the Year Studios has moved on from AGTube almost completely, Basilmentos is making a little resurgence on AGIG after a face-revealing interview with the Doll Studio by Chris. Both AGTubers have videos over 1 million views. Basilmentos has 15 videos with over 1 million views, and almost all of those videos were AGSMs. AGSMs, American Girl Stop Motions, function like cartoons or comic strips, under 5-minute short films with easy-to-follow plot and theming, generally centered around a different activity, event, or setting. Stop motion forces the creator to be intentional. It requires an incredible amount of patience as well as time, hence why girls posted more on the weekends or in the summer. The short time almost forces AGSMs to be pithy, a series of montages, a few potent moments in time, slice of life with a message. Stop motion also invites slapstick in a very different way to the mistake-oriented comedy of shows. Over-exaggerated comic movements aren't just humor, but plot beats, like the awkward Girl of the Year Studios first kiss or dancing brothers in princess dresses. Most AGSMs follow a routine structure. AGSMs invite the performance of femininity through routines: shopping, makeup, proms, and tea parties, whereas shows and movies incorporated more adventure, intrigue, and broke stereotypes about media girls consumed or created. But each creator approaches the AGSM in their own ways. For Girl of the Year Studios, AGSMs follow one narrative, and everyone is part of said story, whereas Basilmentos sets up a scenario and focuses on vignettes of particular characters to make up a larger story. Even when Basilmentos' stop motion was rudimentary, she has such an understanding of short-form storytelling, and I still think about her AGSMs when putting together my photo sets on AGIG. It's cool to track her development through AGSMs she remade, both as an animator and as a storyteller. Her stop motions get longer and more complex as time goes on. Take the prom AGSM, where not only do we see characters go through promposals, get dresses, and take pictures, but we get the distinction between Sarah and the other girls and how they go about each step in the process, which certainly harkens back to the not like other girls discussion of the last video, but in a quirkier, more contained way. The prom AGSM also showcases Basilmentos' costume and set design talent, from the dresses she made to the shoe store, and that dedication to props is true of all of her work. While Girl of the Year Studios was much more known for her shows and movies, including ones we haven't discussed here like Ask Asha, The Ballerina Project, or Sisters in Black, she still made quite a number of AGMVs and AGSMs, like her most popular video, Kenna's Olympic Dream. Made during the 2012 Olympics, this stop motion uses visual storytelling better than any of her shows. It does an underdog story through vignettes and montage and truly feels empowering.
Could I take a gymnastics class?
I loved how much Canadian music I learned about from her too. Now I know a lot of it came from Degrassi in particular, but one of the best moments of this is 1,000 Ships by Rachel Platten for 10,000 subscribers. Talk about something that was hyped up, this was so iconic at the time. Girl of the Year Studios was also very playful about the dolls being alive and her being their mom and whatnot, making videos where we see the dolls interacting with her from the waist down. The Dolls Have Reign of the Human House AGSM was pretty trendy for a while, but I think Basilmentos was the first person to do that, and she did it more than once. Basilmentos had an unconventional holiday special in Lost, which felt like such an event when it came out. It follows two girls surviving in the desert after their plane to a holiday trip crashes. Basilmentos obviously knows a lot about survivalism, and she's able to utilize that within the narrative and as an educational opportunity for her audience, sharing legitimate survival tips as Sarah and Nolly traverse the desert. It feels so official. The after text at the end, and look at that location. They truly feel stranded, and it's no trick of the camera. There was a sequel where Sarah faces off against a bear. Not as spectacular, but I remember being in awe of the title screen after so much Windows Movie Maker text. Most of her other movies came out in the summer months though, and they always feel like PBS specials. Most of these surround the power of nature and the preservation of it. They require normal girls and magical situations to use their knowledge of being a good human to save the day, foiling the villain's plan in a slapstick way to wrap up with sentimentality and a moral at the end.
Science and discovery are important, but imagination, love, and happiness, they matter more.
I will always be there for you, Sarah. Always. Always.
Love is most important.
A lot of these came with trailers, titles, and end credits, and Trapped in Time even seems to have commercial breaks. My favorite of these is Supergirls. It's so imaginative and evocative of a tween fantasy so many of us had, turning a boring summer into an adventure with superpowers. It does so much with its 16-minute runtime and feels so complete. Mermaid Cove, where the discovery of mermaids by a scientist's daughter might make or break their safety, goes all out technically. Basilmentos uses a lot of clever tricks with water, filming on location in the water and with green screens. In general, Basilmentos uses a lot of ingenious stop motion techniques. how this liquid pours, the way the camera is rigged to the raft here, how she uses other dolls' limbs to make insert shots more realistic, which the official AG media team does all the time now. And it's hard to overstate how hard it is to do stop motion outside, with the amount of things that can make that unpredictable.
The seaside conditions were so unstable.
Right.
The wind, the waves, the uneven ground. Every single doll that played a role fell in the ocean. I dropped my camera off of a cliff and completely shattered the front lens.
Wow.
But she does it all the time, and she does it well as her sonic capabilities. She can change her voice to suit characters subtly and effectively.
Hi, girls. Oh, what lovely costumes. You know, I'm really excited, but for some reason, I feel like there's something missing.
Thank you guys so much. This is gonna be so fun.
Loves to layer her voice.
You know what? It's mine. I opened it.
I opened what I said. Please prepare to exit the plane.
I remember for the fairy themed movie that I did, I had like 390 voice recordings on that movie by the time it was done.
Wow.
And while some may scoff at iMovie music or sound effects now, it's commendable how she utilizes the breadth of resources available within free programs at the time. Plus that intro song! So sit back and enjoy the show.
She's also a producer. You're like
Yeah, actually, I
creating
know.
boots.
I know Garage.
Yeah.
Overall, each girl follows similar narratives throughout the course of videos on their channels. Most of Girl of the Year Studios' work surrounds the power of friendship, togetherness, charity, community, how doing something good for others can do something good for you too. And while much of Basilmentos' work focuses on social issues as well, she highlights the power of nature, the good, the bad, how to get in touch with it, learn about it, and experience it in ways that don't harm you or it.
A lot of them are inspired by sort of fantasy themes, and then using nature as much as possible.
The basic building blocks of a story we discussed last time aren't enough to complete a whole work. So how does each show tell its story and utilize the fundamental elements of the media they consume to tell that story, intentionally or not? Show don't tell is one of the most important ways to make sure your story is effectively told visually. And this is not always a skill Girl of the Year Studios have. In all three of these shows, the story is told, not shown. Characters explaining the situation over and over, talking through plans and story beats before, during, and after. We get convenient sob story flashbacks, and both Music and Me and Search and Destroy start with a very on-the-nose monologue about the present situation.
My name is Kyla Benton, and I have never known a life without war.
18 years ago, the United States ended up being a man who turned
but a very
himself into a
terrified
dictator,
North America,
and later
people
took
who
over
were very
Canada,
alike
the country
so
that
many
I'm from.
While Girl of the Year Studios does love a speech, I might let her get away with that one though, as so much post-apocalyptic or sci-fi media uses those same methods of text or voiceover to blandly explain how we got here. I would also assume these were ad-libbed, as a lot of AGTube content at the time was, especially if it wasn't stop motion.
When I start a season, I take a piece of paper, I write down what's going to happen on each episode, and so I have an idea of what I'm doing, but I literally just wing it. I'm like, okay, this scene, this has to happen, so let's do that, and then I just go with it, and just things happen. Sometimes it turns out funny, like something hilarious will happen, and I'm like, oh hey, that's really good, but sometimes it turns out horrible.
Aspen Heights certainly starts out this way. Or, if not telling, shoe leathering. Shoe leather is a screenwriting term for the minutia of a scene. Do we need our characters at a restaurant to walk in, sit down, look at a menu, order, and then start the dialogue if those actions aren't important to the story? How much shorter would these shows be if you took that out? Most of these shows spend extra time in these sorts of situations. Sometimes nice slice of life moments, sometimes dead weight. We do get good moments of show don't tell later, even in season 1. How the objects in Principal Isabel's hidden drawer flash us back through information on the school and Charlotte, but just enough to keep us wanting more. Because Aspen Heights' writing really improves and becomes more concise as the scope of the story gets bigger. And my god, is the scope of this story big. But somehow, AGSmiless is able to consolidate these mysteries into something coherent and special. We get foreshadowing from the start in Alita's scar and the portal, time-sensitive challenges that build tension, legitimate twists, withholding information just enough to create a mystery. And it can actually follow up those something big is coming hints. While the quality shot for shot goes up over time, I'm more impressed with the pacing, the cuts, and the visual storytelling, which is true of the complexity of the narrative as well. The twists are shocking, but always make sense or have been set up in some kind of way. Even down to the name Aspen Heights being a sort of misnomer of the Aspens and the Hyatts. Take Ethan remembering Charlotte as his babysitter, but we later learn through flashbacks from a different perspective she was his stepmother. These flashbacks build out the world and give out necessary information in a cinematic way, while giving us peeks into the other characters' lives, time periods, and settings. I just love how truly mystical, mythical, and imaginative the legends are. The power of names, the power of books, and how written texts hold history and preserve it in a way the human voice can't. Birth certificates, the sketchbook filled with answers, land records, the book of names. Plus, AGSmiless knows how to craft some fucked up moral dilemmas, sometimes gaslighting the viewer and the characters. Showing us Abaddon or Hyatt's impeccable villain vibes truly means something to the stakes of the story. I love the creepiness of Aspen and Hyatt, how they appear and disappear, the ambience and lighting changes that come with them. And while I don't get the obsession with magical guns, the villain's mind control is literally some of the scariest shit out there. And her sound design when it comes to the violent stuff is sometimes too good. Sometimes though, I think because of its smaller scope and later spot in AGSmiless' trajectory, Realm of Aragara has the better first season. How is this story told? Well, from the get-go, it has distinctive, flawed, and relatable characters. She explains lore, but only in context. There are moments of dramatic irony in this that made me gasp, like Seth asked about the girls we know just got killed. And the show intentionally highlights this to make you feel afraid. And while we obviously don't really see Aragara for what it is visually, its atmosphere is still foreign and different. I can feel the full world by the way she describes things, and the glimpses we do see in front of the camera. I do wonder why there's sun in the inner core of the earth though. Also, I really have nowhere to put this, but I need to talk about the epilogue. Years down the line, Maisie and Locke have a baby together that they named after their friend Maxton who never made it back home, and they go to Seth and Lena's wedding. The wedding is so adorable and very Breaking Dawn Part 1, but I love being able to see these characters so naturally evolved. And you can feel the chemistry, camaraderie, and history between everyone. It's genuinely one of the best shot sequences of the whole show, and a fitting conclusion to a story about sticking with your loved ones through thick and thin. AGSmiless understands how to utilize structural elements and tropes to make the narrative feel more whole, conventional, and legitimate, like lore flashbacks, training montages, time skips, the way groups gather and disperse, forming relationships naturally, and being split up to fill out scenes. Even the way we tiptoe through dreams and hallucinations at the end of Season 3 of Aspen Heights. Alita even speaks directly to the viewer. I really like how Girl of the Year Studios incorporates dreams into Search and Destroy. The first episode opens with a dream sequence, this time in stop motion, and they provide a solid mystery that brings up questions in the viewer's head. Why, if these dreams used to star her dead father, do they now star her brother? Is he dead? The difference is that Aspen Heights follows through on its mysteries, whereas we get the answers to questions that Search and Destroy posed, but not always in satisfying or well-paced ways. What Girl of the Year Studios is best at is premise. Her loglines would get movie deals immediately. She finds ways to create stories that incorporate action, mystery, tragedy, comedy, and blends it together with a through line of tween to teen relatability. Like, the series finale of Music and Me is such a perfect example of Girl of the Year Studios throwing everything at the wall and getting it all to stick. Throughout Season 2, Kaylin has progressively lost agency.
I miss my guitar, and I miss singing my own songs.
Her producers changing what she wears, how she acts, and what she sings. Kendra spewing lies to the public that they believe, and her friends choosing each other over her. What was supposed to be the one thing that made this all okay, her 16th birthday party, becomes a jumbled mess of everything she was trying to get away from. Her sister can't come, Kendra's there doing interviews, she wears a dress she hates, enters on a horse she's afraid of, and has to pretend to date a random hired guy. So she runs away to cry, and that's when her friends surprise her. After reconciling, she decides to take her own agency and leave Hollywood on her terms, only coming back on her own terms too in the movie. That's why her narratives shine best when her characters clash on social social issues. Her arguments and misunderstandings create real tension because each character has a point. And sometimes, like in episode 6 of Search and Destroy, they're both wrong. She also knows how to pull in a quick plot twist, like at the end of Search and Destroy. When the ragtag group of child soldiers have made it to Dictator Reginald's domain, they find his hidden daughter, Tabby, in a perfect room with no idea what's happening to the world around her, or how her father has had a role in all of it. And she's the one that kills him. Also, the response from his staff after is so funny.
Please don't have us killed. Oh, do you want them killed? No. I thought so. I'm gonna go inform everyone what happened. They'll be so happy. They're no longer under rule of a dictator. Unless... I'd never. Great.
The other thing I will always commend Girl of the Year Studios for is knowing how to build the stakes while condensing the story in a sequel. Most shows when I was a kid that had a standalone movie weren't really able to do this. The stakes were off, the pacing was off, too much filler or not enough, but the Music and Me movie is a genius premise. After Kaylin leaves Hollywood, she still wants to get her music out there. So Kaylin, Clara, and Ava decide to create an indie label, winning their first Grammys by the end of the movie. And the Palace Wall movie is literally better than half the blockbusters out there. It builds off the plot of Willa stealing the crown from Britta and trying to pin it on her. It's this on a national scale, orchestrated by her mother. It's a rational continuation and expansion of the story that brings us back into the world and gets us refamiliarized with the characters and their wants and needs. And this place has everything. A coup, a heist, a rags to riches plot, a villain explains everything moment, a slapstick moment. I love how the story is totally outlandish and still holds some truth to it. The ethics of valuables relating to a culture, belonging to said culture, and the ways the masses turn. And within the larger plot, there's real development for Britta and Lillian's relationship. Lillian was too busy to spend time with Britta because of her schedule as queen, but when they're forced out on the streets, they have to work together to clear their names. We get new characters that don't detract from the old ones, similar scenarios but with much higher stakes, and a really clean conclusion that lines everything back into place. How many of your OVAs or DLCs or Disney Plus shows can say that? Speaking of which, it's interesting to look at the ways each show seems to internalize tropes and storytelling tools from the media their creators consumed. And most of the time they get it to a T. Girl of the Year Studios always feels very Disney. Music and Me is like So Random, Camp Rock, Lemonade Mouth. The Palace Wall is the Princess Diaries or Princess Protection Program, especially in the movie. They focus on middle school age social issues and utilize comedy geared towards that audience. Like, she loves a Disney disguise bit, and Music and Me has that Disneyfied feeling of the creation of art. It just spontaneously happens, like Lemonade Mouth somehow perfectly improvised pop tunes. Palace Wall also reminds me of very particular parts of American Girl's Felicity stories. The etiquette lessons with Miss Manderly, some Gemma or Vera Juilliard lessons are exactly the same. But there are certainly more adult influences on especially Music and Me, which is so 2012 it's insane, with Duck Sauce's Barbra Streisand references and a very Glee feel too. A young Canadian's image of Hollywood with what she just had lying around is fascinating, and she actually gets so many of the pitfalls of Hollywood right. The excess, bureaucracy, the lack of authenticity, while still mostly being clean and age appropriate. This Clairesified glitz and glamour, references to figures in the scene at the time.
Let's see. Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez. Should we invite Miley? I mean, she can be a little bit of a skank sometime. Demi Lovato's in rehab. Oh my goodness, young Hollywood is falling apart.
The catfight photo shoot with Kendra. Whereas more than anything, I feel influences on AGSmiless and Basilmentos' work fall much more into the literary realm. While nothing stands out in particular, Cabin 4 is so young girl supernatural mystery, something I would have picked off the shelf during 3rd grade free reading hour. Basilmentos feels the most like an adult making media for kids, and always has. Not only the technical elements of the work, but the narrative feel effectively polished. And Realm of Aragara and Aspen Heights both live comfortably in that YA, fantasy, mystery, dystopia, romance genre Tumblr ate up in the early 2010s. There are revolutions like Mockingjay or Divergent, hidden worlds like Maze Runner, City of Ember, or Narnia, utopias with a dark secret like The Giver, double chosen ones in Lenny and Alita like Neville and Harry. Abaddon is so Voldemort, even the more domestic elements reminiscent equivalent of looking for Alaska, and AGSmiless certainly makes the most gory work. While Search and Destroy is obviously inspired by the Hunger Games too, dolls standing around her brother's innocent explosives don't hit those dark levels violent deaths or literal torture do. Media of the time shaped AGTube culture in tons of ways. A lot of creators had particular obsessions they transformed into AG videos. AG Pal's Frozen vignettes, American Girl 077 or 088s, Hunger Games, AGPSs, and AGSMs, a lot of Pretty Little Liars, a lot of Swifties, and a lot of parodies of shows like Toddlers and Tiaras or Dance Moms. And it's obvious the influence Disney and Nick had on the AGTube world from the amount of their songs that were used. From Victorious AGMVs or the iconic Fabulous AGMV to Selena Gomez and the Scene songs in the background of AGSMs. Stuff was certainly trendy, but it's obvious girls only made videos relating to fandoms or artists because they truly liked it. It never feels performative. There were a lot of moral AGMVs that delved into sensitive topics like bullying, death, abuse, certainly in an I'm 14 and this is deep way, but also in a really good faith way, trying to understand the difficulties of the world as they become apparent to you, finding equilibrium with mature issues in a form appropriate to them. And you never know what any girl was experiencing in their real lives, and working through it within this form. They're also incredibly reminiscent of sensationalist content on the internet at the time. The cyberbully movie, the world where everyone's gay, whatever high school bullying or domestic abuse PSA that got millions of views for whatever reason. Similar to this style, we get a lot of moral statements on black backgrounds as sad piano music plays. And a number of these were self-referential, bullying related specifically to liking dolls as a teen or tween, arguing against hiding your dolls or your channel from friends, and accepting everyone's unique interests. In the same way music videos themselves vary stylistically, so do AGMVs. Some are fundamentally short films set to a song, where some utilize the artifice with the doll singing directly to the camera in set-piece locations, and some a mix of both. There are AGMVs that are directly inspired by the real music video, but most are original to the imagination of each girl. I love how literally a lot of these videos portray lyrics in a visually explicit way.
And she threw away the color towels imported from Turkey.
It's cheeky and shows some of their best stop-motion abilities. It's fun to see how girls design costumes and sets to seem mature, glamorous, or edgy based on the content of the music video. My favorite niche in these videos is the amount of kit dolls playing douchey boyfriends. It's the price she's gotta pay for that bob. American girls are notoriously hard to move realistically because of how non-articulate they are, so the variety of ways girls animated dolls to dance in these is surprising as well. When it comes to the technical prowess of each creator, Basilmentos certainly knows her stuff. As previously stated, Cabin 4 is the only fully stop-motion series here, and what Basilmentos was best known for good reason. Because of this, the series is much shorter, but also much more intentional in everything from its shot composition to sound design to narrative. Nobody does sound design like her either. She genuinely incorporates layered tracks that portray the difference in each environment. What really grates on me after a while is her very particular repertoire of royalty-free music, which honestly, whenever I hear it, I recognize as Basilmentos music, even when it plays in the other shows I've talked about here. It's fun to see who shares clothes, dolls, furniture, or accessories with one another. Like Cabinet 4 and Music and Me share a lot of items in that way. And I love seeing things pop up that weren't AG brand, but were the trendy thing for AG creators to get at the time. And I'm pretty sure that pink laptop was one of them. The truly handmade touch is one of the elements that breathes life into these works. Hand-drawn lockers and signs, Sharpie graves, or the messy but clever ways each girl used objects from their lives in their work, like Basilmentos' doll bus, Girl of the Year Studios doll box speakers, or using human iPhones as doll iPads. This is especially true of the way Girl of the Year Studios embraces her mistakes and uses them to embellish the story instead. Dolls who play important characters still appear as extras in group scenes. Whenever the dolls fall, she tries to add that to the plot. Cameras are inconsistent from season to season. This change in audio when she starts screen recording in Music and Me.
Indie music. Okay, here we go.
Indie music. Independent labels that have a long history of—
All the girls say the wrong names or misuse words or phrases every once in a while. There's a real charm to the simplicity and gung-ho nature of that. A moment of art for art's sake. Every once in a while, there's something that's too illogical or just doesn't click for me, but so often I appreciate this mix of imagination and simplicity. Just doing things, even if they don't totally look right. Suspension of disbelief. Utilizing what you have and appreciating and working within your element. And doing things only a girl would do. Her character's insane fucking names. Girls dressed nicely to go living in the wilderness. Kaylin's normal singing voice and literal 2 songs she sings for a whole season straight. How she entertains herself by giving characters funny voices. And still, the cutest thing is her brother engineered the explosives for Search and Destroy. What a lovely way to incorporate your brother into something you're into. And it goes to show how much of this was play. And AGSmiless is an interesting middle ground in between the two of them. While she definitely has the strongest grasp narratively, aspects of her work technically are both incredible and of that younger, messy quality. I think we see that most in her intros. The songs are always blaring like it's literally a jump scare in Aragara. Sometimes the intros are amazing, like the legitimately terrifying season 2 intro of Aragara, but others drag forever, feature bachelor-esque shots of shirtless boys, but the love of these dolls, their stories, and all the extra elements around the show speak to that young, giddy creator mentality, so I'm willing to give them a pass. Girl of the Year Studios intros are all iconic. They're generally standalone tableaus where every character is seen being themselves in a setting important to the show. And they're some of the only stop motion scenes in Girl of the Year Studios shows, which bring a more polished quality to them. AGSmiless appropriates the most surface elements from conventional shows, adopting previously on and next time segments from a little into Aspen Heights onward.
Previously on Aspen Heights.
And creating false behind the scenes and interviews with the doll cast. Both she and Basilmentos regularly use non-diegetic music, which Girl of the Year Studios soundtracks generally consist of music heard by the characters. Similar to Basilmentos, the shots in Aragara especially feel intentionally composed, and both of them weren't afraid to go to a variety of natural locations to shoot, which allows for more interesting landscapes, B-roll, and feels more professional overall. I always wonder if she wrote Aragara because she found that giant hole, or if she had to scout for that location. And AGSmiless' production design is always on par. She knows how to dress a scene with what she has and make or omit what she doesn't, which is the same when it comes to her makeup or special effects. Because the dolls get into a variety of genuinely violent situations, she has to shoot action sequences and gore up the dolls' faces and bodies without harming them irreparably. And I think she always strikes a nice balance of realism and fantasy. She can use our associations of what a doll is supposed to look like to make them scary, whether it's what they're wearing or imperfections on their faces and heads, which is a really clever way to use broken dolls. When I say this stuff is scary or mature, I mean it, and not just in an edgelord way. Search and Destroy is not a totally inaccurate painting of a war zone. And if I had a nickel for every time there were training montages for child soldiers, I'd have 2 nickels, but that's pretty weird, right? Realm of Aragara especially is a show that deals with truly mature themes, and works through them without using them as shock value. Plus, we get that found footage stuff in season 2 that's shot so differently but really works. Because the writing is so good, I generally find AGSmiless does the best voice acting, as her work requires true emotionality to shine through. She moves their heads and necks well too, so the emotion in her voice plays through each doll. And each doll has their own physicality. Their faces seem to change emotion when you look long enough. We get some of the best doll acting ever in season 2's finale. That seriousness and acting ability was important to a lot of AGTube, like the AGMVs we discussed earlier, or the variety of sentimental content we got around Christmas. Tons of AGTubers made PSA-like videos or short fables about the spirit of giving, family, charity, and togetherness in the face of homelessness and poverty. And of course, many of them followed a similar storyline. A girl gives her new doll to a girl that's more in need. Girl of the Year Studios took this to another level with her Christmas Angels contest. She used her AdSense money from Christmas-related AGSMs to buy American Girl dolls for toy drives, creating shorts about doll-related Christmas charity. In general, holidays were an important cornerstone of the AGTube community. From Christmas to 4th of July or Canada Day, Dolloween, and school-related events like prom, graduation, or the first or last days of school. Following a school-esque calendar is universally relatable, but can be tailored to a variety of forms and themes. Props for holidays are more readily available both at home or at craft or department stores. And being a kid and having school and parents facilitating things, holidays can feel more concrete, important, real, with predictable routines to replicate. At Christmas, you get the moral videos we discussed earlier, as well as AGSMs going through the holiday motions. Presents, the trees, Santa, snow, and similarly for Halloween, you get routines and videos about costumes, parties, or trick-or-treating, and scary stories, both in the spirit of their respective holidays. Girl of the Year Studios had the incredibly popular Guest in Room 330 series in multiple parts over different years, which, side note, was written by another creator, and I can't think of many other times that's happened on AGTube.
One of the first series that I did was actually written by another YouTuber. Her name was AGLover13.
Okay.
And she was an incredible writer, and she wrote this script for this full doll series and wanted someone to film it. So I remember I filmed it for her off of her script.
It follows two girls staying in a hotel each year on Halloween as they uncover a mystery about a room they've been told to stay away from. And it almost becomes a thriller by the last one. One of the other cornerstones of AGTube was contests. Whether it was contests like Girl of the Year Studios' Christmas Angels, where girls made videos in her style, or photography and modeling contests like AGMA, where dolls would be chosen to participate in photo shoots with vague prompts like imagination, culture, or childhood, so each creator could put their own spin on it. Some treated it as just a photo shoot, some incorporated video, and some used photos to tell a story. And of course, I can't forget the iconic Liberty Jane contests. Liberty Jane is a brand that sells patterns for doll clothes as well as doll clothes themselves from time to time, and they had a chokehold on the AGTube community at the time. So every year, Liberty Jane held a design contest where one lucky girl would have her design made, and patterns released so others could make it too. Girl of the Year Studios actually won at least once, and we see her outfit tons in her shows. And of course, there's so much of myself and my life as a video creator, a doll collector, a child of the internet that's dispersed throughout these stories. I too saw the Kit movie premiere and got the exclusive t-shirt. I too have the American Girl TV with the cutouts of Kaylee. That one laptop mirror from Amazon we were all obsessed with. So many of these clothes, or the Our Generation doll horse or Jeep. I also have the Rebecca movie dress, but never thought to create chastity lore about it like Girl of the Year Studios did.
Well, it's tradition here in Camden for the princess on her first date with the new quarter, I suppose, to wear a certain style of skirt underneath her other one. You know how your skirt's really tight to your legs. So, well, the boy can't get up your skirt. This is a family show after all.
And when I was constantly making little movies as a kid, with my dolls or not, I used that same shitty iMovie day for night, those same random-ass clip art house establishing shots, and would also swear by those PicMonkey titles. Of course, I tried to pick shows that I know and was comfortable with, and these shows and my nostalgia for them are really seminal in my media viewing oeuvre. While I had the poster for Music and Me in my doll's room when I was a kid, it didn't really speak to me as much as Girl of the Year Studios' other work. And I honestly only got into Realm of Aragara as an adult, but so much of the palace wall is burned into my brain. The episode 2 morning routine, the whole equestrian episode. I think that one especially because it's the most real episode of the show. It has a narrative arc and character development while still being fun and fantasy fulfilling. And I remember how radical Search and Destroy felt to me as a kid. To have a show with dolls about something so violent and dangerous. One of my friends from college was into it as a kid as well, and I remember watching it for the first time in years on their dorm room floor. That royalty-free music getting me just as giddy as when I was little. That radical violence is obviously true of Aspen Heights, which came out a few years after. And of course, that fucking torture montage is seared into my brain as well. I remember being so shocked I had to show my friends at a sleepover. And I distinctly remember and still love the reveal of Aspen's hideout. Stepping stepping into the light of this beautiful, mystical place of knowledge and memories. It's a show I'm probably more upset about the cancellation of than Hannibal or the OA. Okay, maybe not the OA, but the fact that I'm mentioning the OA next to Aspen Heights is a testament to what it means to me if you know anything about me. There are a lot of other AGTube moments I wish I could have discussed here, like Monchat de la Lune's incredible series and her custom George Harrison doll, or the breathtakingly cinematic AGMVs of Asteria Trois, but most, if not all of their content, and so many others, has been wiped off the internet. Only a few screenshots, clips, and memories remain for reference, which is totally fine. If you weren't comfortable leaving that stuff up, you don't have to be. But the way that things can just disappear like that on the internet is a little crazy. Even the fact that YouTube Kids went and basically deleted the entirety of the comments on AGTube.
I was devastated when I realized that the comment section was going to go away. So much of the motivation and value of being on YouTube was seeing those comments from people expressing that they cared and that the energy that I put into making those videos was worth it. Seeing that all of those years of comments had disappeared, like, really hurt me. It's not really about the view count. It's about looking at the comments and seeing real people saying kind things and communicating with each other and building community.
Lots of videos I remember commenting on as a kid, those comments are just gone forever. Just like season 6 of Aspen Heights. There's a lot of lost media on AGTube, and I'd love help from anyone trying to archive some of these works. In 2011, American Girl 077 did an AGTube rewind of iconic videos from the year, and it literally gives me goosebumps. Some of these videos aren't on the platform anymore, but they exist here in this canon. Each creator brought something different to the space. Antonia's humor, Basilmentos' technical prowess, the collaborative efforts of American Girl 077 and 088, and like any community online, I'm only scratching the surface, looking at a small scope of creators in a small frame of time. AGTube is still alive and well, with creators young and old still making videos with all of these forms, as well as videos about their collections, customizations, restorations, etc. American Girl themselves have even tried to capitalize on this as of late, in what I think are generally either boring or really creepy ways, but it goes to show the impact AGTube has had on American Girl as a company, that they've been inspired by so much of its content over the years, they've replicated it themselves. Art on the internet is a legitimate art form in and of itself, and whether or not a work was created by a kid won't stop it from being art either. Because AGTube is far from the only niche like this. There's so many Littlest Pet Shop, Barbie, or Calico Critters channels, so many kids sharing videos from their time on sites like Club Penguin, Webkins, Build-A-Bearville, Toontown. Side note, American Girl had an MMO like this too called Interstar U that my friends and I were so obsessed with. And we figured out how to cheat the pet training game and made so much fucking money in one night we bought all the outfits. Sad day when that went offline. Anyways, so many channels of kids just making short films, action sequences, Hunger Games fan films. The jealousy I still feel watching kids with mermaid tails they got for Christmas make their own version of H2O. I was really lucky to grow up in the age where kids having YouTube channels wasn't about trying to be a YouTuber. It was just about putting the cool stuff you do at home online.
Yeah, I love that YouTube let me keep imagining and keep playing for many years beyond when most children outgrow
their imagination,
creativity. And some of what you see in my videos is that as a child, like Felicity and Samantha, they really were real to me and they really did have personalities, and it was almost, it's like playing house, like they were like my kids, right?
Play is fascinating, and watching that play be projected onto dolls and documented is even more fascinating. Each doll is the character. Their faces mold to their circumstances. Their voices are different. I have the same models of most of these dolls, but they're not them. And we get so many unintentionally philosophical or insightful notions coming from metatext. Watching these girls understand the way the greater world works through play. And I feel like I haven't said it enough, like these works are genuinely good. Especially in the complete dumpster fire world of mainstream media right now. The average AG show is more competently written and has more depth and care in its theming and production than half of the shit the average tween is watching today. While I certainly have a lot of bias, I feel like AGTube has some of the most diverse creativity of any of these online niches. What a wide breadth of views of girlhood, making use of whatever they had at hand, engaging themselves in pure imagination, pure and unwavering creativity. Obviously, the AGTube world influenced me and still does today. I'm an active member of the AGIG community, and it's all taught me so much about creating something real out of something that's not. And it's so important to talk about how many people were inspired to make lifelong careers out of storytelling or media through their time on AGTube, whether as a creator or a viewer or both. Girl of the Year Studios herself is a fashion journalist in Paris now, and other creators have moved on to have successful bands and work in film, TV, or other media-related careers. The amount of comments I've seen of people saying Aspen Heights or some other AGTube work inspired them to write or direct or edit, and they're still doing it, whether in a professional capacity or as a hobby, is genuinely insane. I hope these creators know how much they're respected. It wasn't a film in a movie theater or a show on TV. It was their peers in their bedrooms turning play into stories that inspired them the most. Now, before you go, I have a very special AGTube surprise. In the last part, I discussed how AGSmiless went AWOL a few years ago, but thanks to the powers of the universe, my video would find her, and together we want to bring you an exclusive interview with Alexis. It'll be coming to the channel soon, so stay tuned, and I'm so excited for you all to see. Thank you so much for watching this video. Shout out to anybody coming from AGIG, I see you! Putting these together has been some of the most fun I have ever had on YouTube. It's just awesome to re-experience this world and know that you guys are getting something out of it too. While this series functionally ends here, I'm hopeful I'll come back for an addendum at some point, or a very special part 3 if I can get some things in order. And as always, I would love to hear your memories from AGTube in the comments. If there's something AG related that I didn't look at that you'd like me to, please let me know. I sometimes think about making a video essay on the actual American Girl movies, so if you have any interest in that, let me know as well. With all that said, if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe, turn that bell on to get a notification every time I post. Thanks so much for watching again, and I'll see you next time.